Welcome in, everybody. My name is Valiant. We are making a video today going over Katara in the Avatar Legends the Fighting Game closed alpha test. I was fortunate enough to get into it. It has been an absolute blast. I've been playing since Thursday night at midnight Eastern Time when it first went live. I fought Justin Wong on his stream. I fought Maximilian on his stream. It's been crazy. The game is legitimately super duper fun. I've played it as much as I can when I've been having a very busy weekend. But I noticed there haven't been a lot of like overviews about characters and what they do. I've been playing almost entirely Katara, so that is what we're going to make a video about today. We're going to go through Katara. We're going to talk about her different moves, her different specials, her supers, her different styles, and how they impact her gameplay. Just as a general overview, because she never got a character trailer, and like there wasn't really any information out about her until the alpha started. So the first thing you notice is every character has 3 unique styles. They're not really assists, they're more like variations, think Mortal Kombat, that impact the way that you play. Hakoda has the better icicles, which give you the ability to throw multiple icicles in the air, and a couple other things. Pacu, Master Pacu is faster flow movement. Kanna is better water whips. I've been playing almost entirely Kanna. It's really, really good. We're going to beat up on Korra, unfortunately for her. But let's get into it. First, just to explain the buttons, your D button is flow. And what flow does is if you hold it, you go into this stance and you charge up chakra. Chakra is your EX meter, so that's EX moves, that's super moves. You need to have chakra to do those things. A regular super costs 4 meters. If you've lost a round and you get 7 unlocked and you get a full 7, you get unlocked like a level 3, essentially, another super. I'll show those off later. But flow, what flow does is different for every character. For Katara, down and flow makes you dash forward like that. Forward and flow also makes you dash like that. If you press it again, you get that jump, whether forward and backwards. If you press it and up, you get like a super jump. So hers is used for very creative ground and air movement and approach. It's not as versatile as some of the other characters have, but her flow movement is very good. If you hold flow and your opponent's attacking you, you'll do these dodge animations that will keep your flow from draining, and you will automatically dodge until you find a gap in their moves to punish them back. Alright, let's do a... Nope. It's not going to let me do it, is it? Alright, well, we don't need to reset like that again then. Now, getting into it, everyone has A, B, C, so think light, medium, heavy. So her standing light, her crouching light, her standing medium, her crouching medium, her standing heavy, her crouching heavy. This is a pretty good anti-air if they're in front of you, but because it only hits in front of her, it's a little tricky to use. That's kind of her one big weakness to me in this game, is that in a game where you can't air block, jumping in means that you can get hit by anything that they anti-air you with, including stuff like jabs. Her jab is a decent anti-air if you happen to catch them, but again, it doesn't cover behind her, where other people have stuff that kind of covers around their head. She doesn't really have that. Not a huge weakness. She also has command input. She has Tidal Lash and Tidal Surge. So Tidal Lash is a forward moving, it's forward and C, and you can do a second hit to launch them upward. Now, the cool thing about this is it is cancelable into specials. So you can combo off of it in the corner. The other thing is you can cancel it into her Water Whip stance, which I'm going to talk about more in a minute. To get some of her really optimal combo stuff. I can't really do a lot of those combos, but I can still show off that it exists, that it's in the game. Now, moving to her special moves. So she has Cascading Stripe with a traditional Rekka, right? It's a fast and reliable waterbending attack. You could cancel up to 2 other techniques up to 2 times. You can also cancel it into Water Whip stance. So as an example, you can go high, low, high again. The medium version is a low hit. You have to block it low. The heavy version is an overhead. You have to block it as an overhead. So in a block string, you can mix up between those to make it harder for them to block, but you are unsafe. Both the medium and the heavy are unsafe on block. You will get punished. The light, I think you're basically neutral. So you're back to 0, but you're not punishable, essentially. We don't have any frame data yet, so we'll have to figure that out as we go. The other thing is, like I said, you can cancel into Water Whip stance, which we'll talk about in a second. But essentially, you can, even during pressure, if they're blocking, you could do like light, medium, heavy, Rekka, Rekka, Rekka. Or you could do light, medium, heavy, Rekka, Rekka, stance to pull yourself back if they're blocking what you're doing, to try to make it so that they can't actually punishable. So there's a lot of cool, interesting stuff you can do with her cancels. Her whip cancels and some of her whip loops are some of the strongest combo stuff in the game that make her really, really vicious in the corner, in particular. Next is Water Whip stance. So quarter circle back A just drops you into stance. Water Whip stance B spins backwards, so it gives you more spacing before putting you into stance. And C does a hit and then puts you into stance. Now, if you have 2 chakra, which again, that's your EX meter and your super meter, it'll do a hit that will put you into EX Water Whip stance. Now, when you're in Water Whip stance, you have a high attack, you have a low attack, and you have a vertical attack. You also have an EX, which is a double overhead, and if you hit successfully, it causes elemental surge and it freezes your opponent, allowing you to continue your combo. I'm going to show all of this off in a second. You can also just press D to cancel it, and this is where some of the other mechanics come into play. So, Water Whip stance light into light, Water Whip stance light into medium, Water Whip stance light into heavy, Water Whip stance light EX. So there's a lot of different options you could do out of it. The other thing is that when you were in Water Whip stance, you can move. So you can like dash forward and then do it. And if you do a Water Whip while moving, it becomes empowered and you get extra benefits from it. So like the low one, you'll see it says hard knockdown. Normally, it's not a hard knockdown, it's a soft knockdown. But if you do it out of movement, it becomes a hard knockdown, which gives you better wake-up options on your opponent. You also get more combo fidelity if you hit them with the anti-air. So that's something that'll be important later when you get into comboing and like doing combos on people. Canceling into that in the middle of combos gives you not only a ton of wall carry, but a ton, and I mean a ton, of time to follow up and do something else afterwards. Now, the cancel is important because if you do loops in the corner, you Rekka into the heavy version that does the hit, and then cancel, and you're using Kanna as your assist or your style, you have enough time to continue the combo. If I press the right button. I should have warmed up with this before I started recording, but it's fine. You have to do light. I'm doing the light too early. It has to be light, medium, heavy, but I'm doing the light too early, so it's not coming out. But you can do that over and over again in the corner, and it'll keep comboing into itself as long as you do the cancel. And then, of course, the EX whip is super useful in combos. Just as a case in point, like you can use it as a harder hit and then dash in and follow up. Or you can do the overhead to freeze them. So there's a lot of different interesting things that you can do using the heavy version of the stance and using the EX version of the stance. Now, onto her other specials. Next, she has aerial water whips, which are light, medium, and heavy, and she has an EX, and she has frigid snap. These are her projectiles. So we're going to talk about both of these at the same time. So first, you have her aerial whips. Her light aerial whip goes straight up and down and hits underneath her. Her medium goes down forward, so it's kind of like a neutral tool or an approach tool. Because as you see, when you're using Kanna, you have a better jump arcs and better momentum. You can do stuff like that. where using the movement to cancel into it gives you a ton of additional momentum. So again, that's canceling into the stance, and then using the flow movement out of stance into the empowered water whips. Because again, it counts as a water whip whether you're doing the grounded version or you're doing one of the jumping water whips. It still counts as empowered, it still counts towards Kanna's ability, and it gives you a bunch of different follow-ups. It gives her a bunch of different loops that you can do in combos. It's super duper good. The problem is that obviously if you're just going like that, they can see it coming from pretty far away. So you either have to use this as a call out, you have to use it as a wake up option if they get knocked down, or if you punish a fireball with it. Otherwise, you're just kind of jumping and using them, or you're using them in combos. The big drawback to using Kanna as a style, that I feel personally, is that you lose out on some of the neutral tools you get from the other two stances. We're going to talk about the other two stances after, but since this is the one I play, we're just covering it first. I figured it's the easiest. Now, let's talk about her icicles. So, her light icicle goes at a down forward angle. You can also do it at a super jump to cover full screen. The one thing about her icicle is, the light icicle is you always go backwards. So even if you jump forward, when you throw it, you get propelled backwards. Her medium goes at a sharper angle, like down underneath her feet. If you neutral jump or you jump back, you'll continue backwards. But if you jump forward, you'll continue forward. So you could do stuff like this to get combos out of it if they get counter hit by the projectile. That landing medium, the aerial medium, I didn't shuffle arrows yet. Aerial jab, aerial medium, aerial heavy. Her aerial heavy is a ton of hit stun when you're landing, but it will knock down if you air to air with it. So if you hit them with that out of the air, they're going to land even when you don't, unless you cancel it into something. But you can cancel all of your normals when midair into moves. So as like a double overhead thing, you can do that as a jumping thing. So that's another cool thing that you get with her water whips in the air and with her icicles in the air. Her heavy icicle leaves a mist in the air and then drops you straight down. You can only have one out at a time when you just do the regular heavy version. It does keep your momentum, I believe. So you go backwards if you're backwards. Straight down if you're if you neutral jump, it goes straight down. If you jump forward and throw it out, you will continue to fall forward. But after a brief delay, it sends out a projectile. Now, if you get hit, it will stop the projectile from coming out if it hasn't launched yet. But if you throw the projectile out like that, and then look at that. So there's cool, interesting things you could do with it. The icicle style with Hakoda has even more sauce for that, so we're going to get to that in a little while. But that covers all of her... Oh, I didn't do her... Her heavy aerial whip is upwards. It's really mostly a combo tool, but if someone is like jumping back away from you, you can jump up and launch that out on them, or use it as a long distance air to air. It will catch someone out of the air. Same with this. If they're jumping for something and you call it out from farther away, and now there isn't really a use for it, but you can do that. It's more of a combo tool than everything, the air heavy whip, but it is still useful. Now her EX air whip will do 3 hits. It is a combo specific thing, but you can also use it as an air to air tool. Her EX air fireball is probably my favorite thing that she has. On knockdown situations or at the end of combos, you want to drop this because it'll put out 3 and they slowly shoot out 1 at a time. So if you do... And you can use it, you can combo, and they'll keep hitting and extending the combo and getting other damage. If they're blocking it, it allows you to continue block string pressure without them being able to do much about it unless they flow to dodge your attacks. That's not something I can really show off because unfortunately we don't have training options right now and I can't make the opposing character do anything. So I can't show off the flow movement and how it would like dodge that stuff. But if there are gaps in your block strings, someone can't just hold down flow, block the rest of your stuff, and if you throw out something unsafe, they will punish you heavily for it. So it's a very interesting and cool defensive mechanic. Oh, She has one more special move that I didn't talk about yet. I wanted to talk about this last, because this one is important. So this is her reversal, but it's EX only. You have to have 2 meters. So watch as I charge them up. I have 2 bits of chi. It is a fully invulnerable reversal. Think of a Dragon Punch, think of Ken, Street Fighter, think of that sort of thing. The cool thing about it is, if you hold the button, you will start gaining chi, but you will also heal yourself. Now, I don't have any damage, so you can't see the effect, but you can heal yourself. Now, obviously, they can stand up and hit you out of it, but if you get put in situations where you, like, knock them full screen away from you, you can drop back by stepping back and canceling, and if you have the meter, let me have the meter, and just throw that out and charge to heal a little bit after after a knockdown that sends them full screen. So after some of her combo enders, you can use it to heal a little bit. I don't think it's super efficient, but it is lore accurate that she has it. I think it's cool that she has it. Her only real reversal being EX is a little rough, and it's kind of hard for her compared to other characters. But because of the way the game feels and flows, I don't think it's super egregious. There are other ways to deal with things as well, like doing flow to move, like using your flow movement to get out of situations. There's also rolling on knockdown. You can roll forward and back. So there's ways to get out of situations that don't require you to use your reversal. So it being an EX only isn't the biggest drawback, but I do have to talk about it. It is an drawback. Now, that covers all of her base specials, including Protective Surge. Now let's talk about her supers. So we need to charge up 4 meters. Her first super is a close range attack. That knocks you up and then slams you down. For anyone who's watched the show, this is the attack she uses on Zuko in the North Pole when Zuko captures Aang and just drags him out to the middle of nowhere. When she catches him, this is the move she uses to lock him in place and basically leave him for dead in the North Pole. I think it's a very cool reference that she uses for that. Now, in terms of her other super, again, this one requires all 7 chakra. You need to have full meter, which means you need to have lost a round already. You only have access to this if you've lost one of the rounds. If you haven't lost a round yet, you do not have access to this. In training mode, they just give it to you. But the supers are quarter circle forward in all 3 hits. That's the one we just did. The other super is quarter circle back in all 3. This is her level 3.
You won't get past me. I'm not that helpless little girl anymore.
Also, a lore reference to things that she's done. Super duper cool that they included this. I love the voice lines in it. I love the animation. I love the way that it looks. The cool thing about these is they don't really scale. So normally supers scale at the end of combos, but for whatever reason, in this case, they don't really scale that much in this game. So let's get a regular, let's see. So that's just a simple corner B&B, one of the first ones that I started doing. 50%. Super easy, 50%. Now, the other thing you can do, if you have 4 meters, that Sambo combo will work into level 1. Quite a bit less damage, but as you can see, it does the same amount of damage that it would do if you just hit them with it raw at the end of combos. So there doesn't seem to be any real scaling to supers, but because of the investment, because it's 4 chakra and 7 chakra, I'm actually perfectly fine with that. It takes a while to build up super, and if you're using EXs of any kind, which you want to be using with most characters, as you can see, that short little combo I did costed 2 meters to throw that out, but I built the 3 meters back. You build enough meter and you use enough EX that you want to be using your supers, the fact that they don't scale is perfectly fine to me. Now we're going to get into mechanics. Now, mechanics basically explains what the support characters do. And we already talked about Kanna a little bit, but we'll talk about that. So basically, it's improved water whip. The grounded water whip techniques gain improved hit stun, block stun, and recovery, meaning they recover faster, they let you combo easier, and they have more block stun, they're safer on block. The aerial water whips have improved jump trajectories. So like, as you can see, if I'm going up with that one, it kind of carries me upward a little bit. This one carries me forward. Both of these carry me forward a little bit. That's one of the benefits of using Kanna as your style, for lack of a better term. The other additional effect that she has is while Water Whip stance is active, Frost Path gains increased speed and reduced recovery. Qatara can exit Water Whip stance much more quickly using cancel. So when you're in the stance and you do this, they're faster. Now you can see that's eating my flow meter, the blue bar under my health. That's eating my flow meter to go back and forth like that, but it's faster if you're in stance when you're doing the movement. It's faster, and you can visibly see it. So that's the speed of a regular forward flow. That's the speed of flow in stance. So that's the benefit you get of being in Kanna, is that this stance is basically just fully empowered. You get better combo stuff out of it, you get better neutral stuff out of it, and you get better movement options from the stance. So it's all focused on using the Water Whip. The other thing is that when you do the empowered versions of these out of the stance, I'm really just not getting that today, am I? You can combo off of things if you land, depending on the spacing. Depending on the spacing, you can combo after them when you land them. You can also use the mid combo. I will try to do some of those combos later, but I don't really have those loops particularly. I can let other people show those videos off that have better technical skill when it comes to combos for me. I didn't spend that much time labbing combo stuff out because I'd rather get the neutral down with just consistent combos so I can have more fun in matches and then learn the more complicated stuff after. And because it's an alpha, we only had the one weekend to play it. I felt like that was more important. So back in, let's talk about Master Pacu. And actually, we're going to switch. So let's go back to character select. I'll also do this for everyone. We're going to switch to Pacu. I'm going to show off all of her colors because every character has different colors. So we're going to show off all of Katara's colors. She has the base color, she has an Earth Kingdom color, a Fire Nation color, an Air Nomad color. Then she has this one, kind of reminiscent of the swamp area. She has the all-white one, which is very similar to the one they had when they were in the pole with Sokka. Again, when she fights Zuko after Zuko kidnaps the Avatar. This one is really cool, the really dark outfit. This one I've been calling the bloodbending outfit, just because that's kind of the vibe that I get from it, is the bloodbending vibe. She has this one, which is the Northern Water Tribe colors that her uncle and her father wore into battle. And then this last one, which is just kind of like a purplish variant of the original outfit. This is more similar to some of the stuff you see early on in the show and at other points in the show, which is kind of a color variant for it, a little more purple. I like this color the best. This one has been my favorite. This one's also really good. I like them all a lot. Everybody has a lot of cool colors. I actually think the Air Nomad color is really good on her, and I like the green color on her too. I wish she had a darker green color, not this one, not like the sand color, but you know, whatever. I'm like nitpicking at that point, complaining about what colors they're wearing. So what Pacu gives you is faster flow movement. So let's put on the Pacu colors. We're going to beat up Korra again. We're going to go to the ice again. Now it says faster flow movement, and it means exactly that. Master Pacu increases the movement speed of Katara's flow moves. Snowdrift Flip gains additional range. So her regular dashes are faster, you'll see. And the ones out of movement aren't empowered anymore, so they're not as fast. But her base movement is faster, and you can just do... The other thing is they will cross up at close range, so if you're farther away... You get increased distance on your jump-ins because you have that faster movement. Now, the only drawback to this one is that's kind of all it does. It's just, hey, you move faster on the ground, it's better neutral. But as you can see, a lot of the same simple combos still work. So if you like being able to move faster, And having that option, just your neutral movement being faster. You can also wave dash in this game with forward and 2 attacks. Instead of having to command backdash, you can wave dash, which is cool. It's not faster than any of the other types of movement, but as a way to just kind of surprise your opponent, it is an option. It is something that you can do. You can wave dash in the game. That's kind of it for Pacu. I'm sure there's specific combos you can do with Pacu-based movement, but because I haven't played him that much, I can't really say for sure. Let's go back one more time. I'm going to pick Katara again. We're going to pick the bloodbending color. Nope. And we're going to do Hakoda for better icicles. Now, the better icicles is another one that's more focused on neutral, but also it gives you more combo potential. So Hakoda improves Katara's aerial projectiles. Katara gains the ability to perform 2 aerial projectiles per jump. The B version of Frigid Snap can be used to move forward or backwards. So at all times, you can control what direction you go after it. So normally, that kind of carries you forward a little. You can hold back to stay neutral, or you can hold forward to move even farther. So you get increased movement. You can do 2 projectiles in the air at one time. I don't know if you can actually do another projectile after the heavy one. You could do 2 lights, or a light and a medium. I'm not doing the input at the right times. But you can do, essentially you can do, I haven't practiced one very much unfortunately, but you can do multiple projectiles in the air. So you could like go like this. It's just cool. Again, the issue is that that's really all it gives you, is that it gives you 2 air projectiles. Now, the one thing it does give you is that Frigid Snap, let me go back to it, is the extra control that if you use the one that shoots straight down, the B version, it gives you additional movement you wouldn't otherwise have. So it's very neutral focused and very zoning focused. It keeps you in the air a lot, which is a dangerous place to be because you can't block in the air. But it is strong. Shoutouts to Diaphone. I was hanging out in his chat the other day watching him play while I was working, and he runs this. He says he likes it a lot because it gives you a lot of mix-up options on jump-in. It gives you a lot of ways to zone out better. And in this game, zoning is kind of at a premium. She's the only person who can zone from the air. Everyone else's fireballs are ground-based. Now, that does put her at the disadvantage of she doesn't have a ground projectile. So you have to jump. You have to commit to get the fireballs out, which is a disadvantage in some ways, but at the same time, it's so strong in a lot of ways that it's kind of worth it. You can also do combos where you launch the character in the air and then do multiple air fireballs while juggling them in the air. Those are combos I cannot do, so I'm not going to even attempt them. What we are going to do is we are going to switch back to Kanna. We're going to switch our color. Let's do the air nomad color for the rest of the video. Why not? Why not? Let's clash badly with the blue background by wearing orange. Now, these are critical hits. Now, critical hits are unique to each individual character. So, Katara's critical hits are enter Water Whip stance, then hit with Water Whip after using Frost Path twice. Awards 1 chakra point and deals additional damage. So what that means is you go into stance and you move and you hit them. And you see how I gained the extra bit of chakra there? And then once you've done that, it's just a chakra every time. So landing those goals gives you additional power that is very useful. Protective. Hit an airborne opponent with Empowered C Water Whip. Awards 1 chakra point and enables combos. So the easiest way for me to do that one is to do a mid-screen combo. Oop. Oh, come on, do the EX. So that was an example of that. We hit an airborne opponent with the sliding C. And that gives you an extra chakra point and enables combos. So doing that allows you... Nope, I wanted to throw you in the other direction so I could combo you. Oh, I went too far even. That allows you, when they land, to continue the combo in the corner. I actually went too far forward and it side switched me, which is funny, and that can happen depending on your spacing and how quickly you do it. Determined. Hit with empowered A version of aerial air water flip while using snowdrift flip high. Now this one's kind of hard to do. It's that, basically. The reward for it is an extra chakra point, which is nice. But again, you have to do all of that setup. That's not even the high chakra flip. Just to get the extra combo point. That one's kind of tricky. It's a little harder. Finally is healer. Extended protective surge for an extended period. Awards 1 chakra point and additional healing. So like I said before, if you press that and hold it, it will give you an additional chakra point every so often. Now, no one's going to let you sit there and do that for an extended period of time. But if you get them a hard knockdown, you might be able to hold it long enough to get the single chakra point. I don't think it's super worth-it or effective. The main ones you want to do is this. Landing the sliding water whips out of Frostpath for the extra chakra. And protective, doing the empowered sea water whip when people are in the air. So if someone's jumping a lot, you could just go into stance, use flow movement, and try to call out their aerials with that, or their air movement with that. And if you catch them as they come down, you get a free combo. So, pretty cool, all of the mechanics in the game. In terms of combos for her, a lot of your very simple stuff is going to be like A, B, C, forward C, Rekka, Rekka, Rekka. Now, the low doesn't Rekka into the high. You have to do the light again first, but you can do light twice. Whatever one you start with, you could do a second time out of your 3. So you get 3 to choose from unless you do EX, which allows you 4. And the EX, you can always do all 4 of them, I believe. But the low never combos into the overhead. You can't do the low before the overhead. You have to do either the... you have to do the overhead first. But in terms of a base combo, you could do like light, medium, heavy, forward, and then forward C. So ABC, forward C. Rekka, Rekka, Rekka. You could do stuff like... Now you can't actually combo after that, but what you can do is... Just give me a second. Why is it not giving me the EX? I'm trying to get the EX after that, but the timing is... Timing the Rekka into the cancel is very specific sometimes. Sometimes I do it consistently, sometimes it's a little more difficult. You could do stuff like that. You can also do the overhead. And then you get a second loop of Rekkas. So there's also, you could do ABC, forward C, forward C, forward C. which is the 2 command normals. And then if you cancel that, right? Hey, get banned, obvious bot. Thank you. Interrupting my video. Yeah, no, we don't want that. I'm trying to record right now. So out of the EX stance, you could continue the combo. After the EX stance, you could do the overhead, which will freeze them and allow you to continue the combos. You can also do loops. I'm not good enough to do repeated ones again because I haven't really labbed that, but that was just an example of like the type of loops that you can do. In mid-screen, you want to do a combo like... Again, I'm doing that... Stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool ways you can move around with the character. So use the movement that's best for you. I think the strength of this character is the range of her water whips, the range of doing things out of this stance, and the air projectile giving you interesting ways of approaching. I'll leave it to other people to do more advanced combos. I don't really have a lot of the harder loops down, but there is stuff that you can do like... Oh, I didn't cancel into stance. You have to cancel into stance first, so you got to cancel out of the Rekka into stance to get additional hits. That's the overhead. I did not want the overhead. I pressed it twice by mistake. That also doesn't work. There's a way to loop that. I'm not good at it, but basically you can do Rekkas into the forward movement, into the aerial, empowered aerial water whip. It'll pick them up. You can continue the combos. To find better combos, you'll have to look them up from other players, unfortunately. I haven't labbed enough of that to do anything like cool on command. But that's Katara in a nutshell. That's everything that she has. I really like the style of the character. I really like the fact that you have these interesting ways of... mixing up your opponent, interesting ways of using your movement, interesting ways of canceling out of your stance and using the unique stance. There's very cool stuff you can do like this. I jumped in from full screen and I got almost 50%. So there's really cool ways of using her movement. It's stuff that you just have to figure out. They did say that there's going to be another global test, hopefully fairly soon. Not super duper long of a wait for anybody else looking to get into it. I was super fortunate to get in. I cannot thank the devs enough. Shout out to them for me getting into the playtest and the opportunity to play this. I've had an absolute blast, from getting clipped by players like Maximilian to interacting with people like Spooky and Yipes, where I actually have information because I've been playing it too, instead of just being an observer. Getting to participate in this has been really, really cool. It's been a super unique and awesome opportunity. I'm so happy that they gave me the chance to do this, and I'm very, very thankful to them. They also said they're possibly, now again, this is just rumor, they're possibly going to have people that give feedback on the first alpha, the ability to play in the next one. I'm hoping that I get to get back in and play more in any future ones, and I honestly just cannot wait for this game to come out. I love Qatara. I played a decent amount of every character to just kind of get a feel for what their abilities and their moves do. Zuko is super good. He has tools for every situation. He has dive kicks, he has fireballs, he can chain his own specials into his own specials. All of you KOF and Fatal Fury players, that will feel very familiar to you, that you can cancel from one special into another. It does use your flow gauge, but he has a mechanic that's built around that. It's super duper cool. Korra, as you can see under her character plate in the top right corner of the screen, has a unique mechanic where she has to hit the different elements in order, and then she gets empowered versions of her specials. She also has a persistent avatar state that allows her to do like better EX versions of moves. She hits harder than anyone else in the game. Some of the combos she does are absolutely bonkers, super duper nasty. I've fought some really, really scary Korras. Aang has the craziest movement in the game. He is super hard to pin down. He's super hard to catch. I only fought a couple that had good consistent combos with him because I think his combos are very difficult and technical, but it is very true to his design as a character in the show that he's more of a pacifist, that he wants to run away, get spare hits, and then just not let you hit him, that he plays very defensively with his movement. It's very frightening for him, and it is very, very difficult to chase him down a lot of the time for some of the good players that I've played. But this has been an overview of Katara in the Avatar Legends Alpha. Once again, I am Valiant Vincent. I thank you all for being here. I got to remember to look at my camera when I'm making a video because I'm not just live streaming right now. I'm also making a video. Hi, YouTube. And I can't wait. I'm going to play more of this for the rest of the night on my live stream. I can't wait for future tests. I can't wait for the game to come out. I can't wait to play Toph. I'm more excited about Toph than any other character. Toph's my favorite character from the original show, so I can't wait to get my earthbending on. I do consider myself an airbender in terms of stylistically what I would like to do myself, but Toph is my favorite character, so I do want to try her out. I cannot wait for the opportunity to do so in the future. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next time.